PlayStation decided to not have its monitoring on today, despite the fact that I have not changed the project file in over 3 weeks. I am actually kind of surprised it took someone that long to tell me that my mic was off. So we're pretty good at video games today, I guess. Anyway, hi. Shit. I can't actually leave my map unless I run back to the portal. I gotta make this trade, though. Shit. I'm going, my man. Alright, what do you even want to buy from me? Stormjack Eelskin Tunic. Oh, this thing. God, how long has this been here? Fucking give me a Regal instead of a Chaos. You know it's worth less. You're lucky I don't care. Piece of shit. Yeah, I don't like to broadcast no mic unless it's in my title, so the people who are here for the dulcet tones of asshole who stutters constantly, they know that they can skip this one. I don't like disappointing anybody. Actually, I wonder... Yeah, I can sort of hang out in Caustic Clouds now, too, since I actually bothered to do my Pantheon stuff. That plus the Watcher's Eye has helped a whole lot with this character. Karen asks, convince me not to play Magic Find Poet's Pen. Poet's Pen is kind of clunky to control. That's really all I got. It doesn't run particularly smooth when you're confronted with such endgame encounters as doorways, which can present problems. But other than that, really, it's like, why not play Poet's Pen? So I gotta actually put scrolls in my inventory, because that's what you do when you want to play Path of Exile. And I should probably actually... I'm running a little low, so let's just... Yeah, let's just do that. I've been identifying so many rares recently that it's been kind of a drain on the scroll resources. I might just run that red, yeah. Let's just slam the layer in the device and see what happens. Minus max reses, that's a little spiky. Ellie Reflect, nah. Chief, that ain't it. That's fine, I think. Ooh, yeah, that's actually a pretty good 101 for me. So we throw that in and maybe pull blinds it. I like Onslaught a little bit more on these maps. Oh, okay, good morning. Thanks, Envy. 16 months from lovely Envy, who says, bad money choices starting 1997. Wow, you were making bad financial decisions since the day you were born? What a hero. Came out of the womb like, I think I'm gonna pre-order Battlefront 2. I appreciate that. Remember when I said I was going to change my sub sounds so that they weren't so obnoxious? I'm never doing that. At least it's not the beep of death, though. The beep of death, I think, was a breakpoint even for me. It's like, nah, even if your brand is trolling the fuck out of your viewers for no clear reason, you can't do that. That's too much. God, I wish I could see my map. Karen says, the only problem with going Magic Find pens right now is that I don't have the money for the good Magic Find gear. Well, you can make it there. It's not like you can't farm without Magic Find gear. In my experience, unless your build of choice is Flicker Strike, you can basically just put together whatever you want and make it work by constructing garbage along the way. It requires some game literacy, but hey, what doesn't? says, you cannot level stun. Trust me, I tried. You cannot enjoyably level a stun build. Wes did it. Wes played Vigilant Strike and then switched to Heavy Strike midway through the leveling process and had a fucking blast. It was one of the smoothest characters I've ever seen. And he was leveling with Vigilant Strike, meaning you don't even get to swing if you don't get to stun, because you need Endurance Charge and Melee Stun to go off so you can use the attack again. He later switched to Heavy Strike because Vigilant Strike really just doesn't have enough support in the game for what it's trying to do. Meanwhile, Heavy Strike is a great damage modifier in those psychotic threshold jewels. If you're trying to level Sunder and it feels like ass, man, I don't know what to tell you. Sunder has been like primo generic melee leveling for a while now. They've nerfed it a couple times, I think, and it's still pretty much just as strong as it was. Wolves! My prey draws near. I kind of hate how I still have to line of sight this. Also, being enfeebled because I have no flasks is kind of dumb, but I don't feel like portaling. So I'm just gonna run around for a little bit. This character could probably tank a lot of the wolves. I think the last time I fought Rigwald, I had minus max reses or something, which is why it hurt so badly. Yeah, like that hurts a little bit, but really not much. Okay, that's a little much. It's just a little scary. Not too bad, though. Huh. That ring's actually gonna go for 5C, huh? I'm surprised. Getting slightly better at pricing garbage rares. So many bulky items here. Do I vol this or do I bloodlines it? I feel like I should just vol it. Yeah, that's a little better. That's not scary to me at all, so... fuck it, go for it. Oh, and it voled up a tier too. Yeah, Kieran's saying they just got a problem with the feel of Sunder. And I feel that for sure. Sometimes you just don't like a skill, and there's not much to be said about it. Something about the way it controls or the VFX on it or something just doesn't mesh with you. And there really ain't much to do at that point other than not play it. I'm trying to think of a meta skill that's like that for me. And again, the last time I played an actual meta build was... I don't know. Nemesis? Voltaxic Lightning Arrow was pretty popular back then. Not that I made it very far with the build. Man, old Voltaxic Rift. Rest in peace. That item used to be so cool. And now it's like, nobody gives a shit about anything. Garbage! The changes made to Chaos Conversion, and then they went back and they removed fucking Reflect from the main part of the game anyway. Now it's only available as a map mod. Because a lot of their rationale behind destroying Chaos Conversion was as part of addressing double dipping and the ubiquity of Reflect. I don't know, man. I miss the old Voltaxic Rift. 100% Chaos Conversion is a cool thing. Of course, now the cool way to play Chaos Bow is Caustic Arrow. Or fucking Scourge Arrow. I don't know why they decided to have two Chaos Bow skills, but Scourge Arrow. Man, Man, Scourge Arrow goes the exact opposite direction. I saw someone playing full lightning Scourge Arrow the other day. Just one-shots Elder with it. Alright. Oh yeah, and Toxic Ring, which is also super meta right now. Toxic Rain, life gain on hit Pathfinder stuff. Wes has been having a lot of success with that for low-depth fossil farming. Ethan and Wes have both been doing a lot more fossil farming than I have. They're just hanging out at super low depths and using all of their sulfide income to basically finance infinite delves at like depth master level 68 or something. And the results have been crazy. I feel kind of dumb for, oh, what are you? You're an unset ring. The fuck is this? Mark of Submission for 1.6 chaos. Nice. So you could wear this, or you could get a corruption for the curse that you actually want. Envy asks, what does the base boosted sound mean? The base sound is a red map drop. Which are typically worth, like, at the very minimum 3 chaos, but since I'm running most of them because I'm lazy and don't feel like trading maps, well, they're maps. Yeah, I guess see your heart out, buddy. I'm not even VRFing. I'm just seeing what the damage is on standard Righteous Fire. Yeah, that got a little spiky. Was I degenning from something, or? I mean, I had no flasks, but I didn't think that alone would make me so squishy. Ah, well. Oh, was it poison on hit on the map? I bet that was it. Hey, so we're making ups today. Let's just alch this Coliseum. 66 physical reflect. Can I vol a unit? That's a little scarier. Yeah, that's a no regen T14. So if anybody wants free maps, I've just been kind of throwing every map that I break and transfer to someone to take out. We'll probably do a tab for that at some point. I do have bonus on Arsenal, right? Yeah, that's fine. 85. Run it. Probably Bloodlines, I don't know. Karen asks, have you shaped your T9 yet? I'm not sure what I have shaped, honestly. I've been so lazy about Influence this league. Right now I'm just sitting here like, damn, this character would be pretty strong if they were level 100. I don't know if that's my goal for real, but leveling is pretty smooth on this thing because it's probably the tankiest character I've built in a while. I'm usually the shithead running around with 4K life builds. So 4K life and an Immortal Call is enough to survive Guardians, right? Just put 1 billion damage on it. Karen says, I'm planning on shaping Vault for the FC and Taste of Hate div cards because that seems like fun. Nice. So, Whelmy grabbed my map and apparently it had Run Start Zana mission. Congratulations. I actually dropped a Taste of Hate div card earlier. I didn't bother to price check it, I just kind of threw it into my stash. Because, I don't know. It's what's done. Let's actually use VRF for the first time in like 20 years. Yeah, burn baby, burn. I want to get an Onslaught or some kind of increased movement speed source in this character eventually. I've been thinking of using the Jewel Socket near Diamond Skin to run a Green Dream to generate Frenzy charges and then using a phase run. Which I think could be pretty funny. That would probably also open this character up for, like moderately efficient low-depth fossil farming. Since all you really need to do is like kill things brainlessly and like have a decent move speed and some sort of regen. And you can navigate in the darkness pretty well. Envy asks, what level are you, AJ? I am 92. Which is, I think, the highest I've gotten a character in a temp league. It's a tie. Usually by the time I hit 92, I've either lost interest or the character can't progress anymore because it's too squishy. And instead of building survivability on it, I decide, hey, Wes, any dumb ideas that go fast for me? And Hugh says that loot sound is pretty good. Yeah, I like it. Hey, Hikari. Yeah, the Bill Wirtz garbage is basically how I feel every single time I pick up a unique. Garbage. It's pretty good. Although I think Neversink also uses that sound for certain items of questionable value that actually turn out to be worth something, which kind of bothers me. At some point, I've got a project that's kicking around in my head, right? Where it's basically a programmatic filter generator, where the premise is that you hit a button and it generates a filter that only shows named items if they're priced higher than a certain threshold of chaos on Poninja. So it's basically an auto-updating do I give a fuck about this filter. And that gets into the realm of kind of scary territory if it gets any sort of wide adoption, because it immediately invalidates its own necessity. But hey, Neversink filter will never be dethroned anyway, so I think I'm fine. Yeah. Wes says hi. Wes is on some flavor of sedatives right now. Got back from the dock and he's... according to Ethan, he's expected to be knocked out cold for intermittent periods of most of the day.
Still saying Exile.
Ooh, okay. 55% T14, 58%. Let's go with that. I'm not gonna run a Malkoon, get out of here. Oh yeah, it's find the map item too, perfect. I don't even read Zana missions anymore, I just look at the maps. I mean, I guess a Coral Ruins is fine. So yeah, pretty low-key tonight. It's 3 p.m. It feels like it's later. I slept in a little bit, and it always makes me more tired than I would be if I'd just gotten up. I feel bad, like I'm slacking off. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how smooth the character's running at this point. It's got some room to scale upward. I feel like in extremely strong rares, it's possible for the character to push to like 7.5k life, which of course means a proportionally higher amount of regeneration because most of my regen sources are percent life with the exception of the Enduring Cry. And then being further boosted to the Watcher's Eye. Always fun. I'm running this layout in the worst possible way. I'm like, what map am I running? I don't know, just fucking run at stuff, man. Do whatever you feel like. Nice. See, I'm staying mostly in reds, even with like bad bonus. What is my bonus right now? 121. Yeah, so not terrible, but I've got a lot of room. Like, if I spent a day or two actually just trying to fucking buy maps, I could improve it. Oh. Okay, let's start throwing out rares that are almost guaranteed to be garbage. then let's fight the boss! With extra damage as lightning, which won't trash me at all. This is like, the damage, right now the damage scales most efficiently with life, which is pretty funny. Like as the character gets tankier, boss fights will get faster. But honestly, I don't mind taking 20 minutes to do Guardians as long as the character can do Guardians with no risk. And as long as it continues to clear, like, as smoothly as this. Like, look at how safe that was. Playing characters that are actually, like, tuned to normally not die is kind of a new concept to me. I don't usually plan for characters getting past level 90. And that's as somebody who's been playing this game for probably longer than I'd like to admit. It's just, softcore makes you not care. I want characters to be fun and funny, not necessarily, like, survivable or practical. Oh, what did I forget? Alright, that warehouse down here, I think. Flicker used to be really dumb back when old volatiles were in the game, because old volatiles didn't used to be dodgeable. If you were in melee range of a volatile when it died, it would hit you with damage. So every melee character that didn't have the flexibility to read mods when in melee range of things, so basically Flicker Strike, and nothing but Flicker Strike if I remember correctly, would just sometimes warp to a volatile and immediately explode. Because the alternative was never ever running anything that didn't have, never running anything with additional damage on the map. And of course, that is neither fun nor practical. Oh, I don't have any chisels. Shit. Maybe I shouldn't chisel everything that's red. Alright. Back to yellows for a bit. Let's do a seed or something. Elk. 74 is fine. I should probably master all maps, but lazy. Yeah, hardcore is really interesting to me. It doesn't quite match up with the way I play the game, but at some point I'd like to, at the very least, play solo self-found softcore. Because I feel like Trade League does things to the game where, like, the ubiquitizing of all items as liquid currency basically invalidates a lot of interesting game systems. The converse of this being that, unfortunately, it is mildly more difficult to go fast. Vindicative says, trying to play Charge Dash right now feels awkward, man. Yeah, I tried that skill for like 20 minutes, and the way it controlled was just not for me. I've seen some builds that get some pretty amusing results with it, but I don't think it's anything that I could ever play personally. I think fluidity of movement and overall control is pretty high up on my priority list, which is why I'm playing a Righteous Fire with no active skills, so... Yeah, I think Charge Dash is probably the fastest that a skill has ever got reworked and then reworked again. Vindicative says, I can kill bosses in 2 dashes, no problem, but sometimes you just snag while clearing. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like Poet's Pen in that regard, where like your worst enemy is a doorway. Small rocks. That is Cyclone, man. I still don't know why Cyclone isn't channeling. Well, I can think of a couple reasons why, but none of them are quite good enough for me.
One closely associated with the late Clifford Brown. Joyce.
I'm kind of disappointed that I couldn't kill before the phase here. Vindicative says, I wanted to do Consecrated Path, but the AoE was painful. I League started with fucking RT Inquisitor Consecrated Path. And I maintain that RT Inquisitor is really not as bad as people think it is. People overvalue Inevitable Judgment and undervalue the other nodes in Inquisitor by a lot. And I was mostly interested in trying out a attacker that could finally make use of Instruments of Virtue by using an instant cast Molten Shell or Blood Rage to activate the attack speed bonus and kind of offset the slow attack speed of Unarmed. The way I structured it turned out to be a little squishier than I'd like, and I want to revisit Consecrated Path later with an actual weapon, but it was pretty funny while it lasted. I do agree, though, that, like, once you've played high quality, large skills, the AoE on Consecrated Path, especially with the little dead zone in the middle, can feel kind of obnoxious. It says charge dash is like driving a bus. Vindicative says, my conk path is with champion for the free fortify. Yeah, that's smart. I'd probably go like either champion or just meme it and go Slayer if I were to revisit it again. Slayer, Raider, champion. Potentially glad? I don't know, though. This character is Gladiator for no reason other than making use of the Martyr of Innocence block, since Martyr of Innocence happens to be one of the funniest ways to scale Abereths while also enabling something like Righteous Fire. It's a weird defensive engine, and it kind of feels like shit going through a whole bunch of nodes that you don't care about, but I think overall it's worth it just because mirroring block to spell block in that way is so valuable now that it's been made way more obnoxious to actually get spell block from other sources. Zombie says Uber Elder win? Nah, not yet. I'm in fucking yellows right now, just chilling out and leveling. I did wanna, I still don't have Uber. And Uber gives me fucking 10% reduced physical taken. So I should probably go bother to do that at some point, but Lamau! I feel like this build might actually do okay against Uber Azara, but I hate Labyrinth so fucking much that I've just been putting it off continually. Less recovery. I could probably do it in a yellow, but I just don't care. Hey Karnos. Hey Ashix. Zombie says, I can do your Uber. Alright, man. I'd appreciate that. I do have an offering, so. I mean, if you want to get on and do that and watch me, like, somehow die to a trap just by being a regen character. Be pretty funny. Yeah, just let me finish this map. Says first to strike giving permanent intimidate is fucking bonkers. Yeah, for attackers it's really strong. What's up with Twitch Prime is now online? Funny you should mention that. Did you know that with Amazon Prime? Yeah, I've been putting off Uber for so long. I actually didn't do Merciless Lab on this character until like 88. What are you? You are a Praxis, and you are 2C, and I don't know why you came up in red unless you're a multi-base. Vindicative says, leaping for Fortify on some skills is just awkward and you get Perm Intimidate from Tomb Fist. Yeah. Tomb Fist and Light Poachers, like, even with Abyss Jewels kind of toned back a little bit in terms of, like, where and how you can acquire them. My god, they are still so fucking strong. Ashix asks, wins Headhunter for this? Honestly, I'd rather get a decent Elder Belt with, like, 100 plus life, good reses, and max roll life recovery, that'd benefit me a lot more, at least in the short term. Azami asks, did I just hear? Yeah, my currency drop noise is the fucking Quake 3 hit sound. It seems super appropriate for whatever reason. Alright, let's do this garbage. I'm not turning on Righteous Fire, so you also have to kill everything. I'm not apologizing. Alright, let's hit the plaza, boys. I'm a large boy, prepare yourself. Uh-oh. What the fuck are you wearing? I mean, I've got the ultimate chaos armor on too, but like, fuck. Nice discipline. Yeah, here we go. First class carry. Please no golden door. Not even turning on RF, just spamming Enduring Cry. Hey, my Aberiths are still doing damage. See, look at that. Damage. Karen says, if you're using a one-hand sword, there's corruption for 10% fortify on hit. Yeah. God. Corruptions and fucking Elder and Shaper mods made this game so fucking crazy. Like, nothing makes any goddamn sense anymore. Ah! That was a little spiky. Ow. Don't worry, guys. Traps are too easy. Like, the number of builds that become possible, or the number of optimizations that become possible when you just say, oh yeah, take this rare item and get a corruption that doesn't exist on it. Like my last Aberith's character, the assassin. That character ended up being really funny because I was able to literally just buy 30 Voidbringers in a row and corrupt them all until I got Elemental Weakness on hit for one of them. And it freed up so much space on the rest of the character that it was able to actually perform really well. But like, you just gotta have the weird item. Indicative says, during incursion I bricked my 10x double strike foil. Ugh! God, I can't wait for the Altar of Corruption to come back, though. I didn't play at all during Incursion, so I didn't get to experience the nirvana that comes with destroying multiple Exalt items for no reason. So, how about doors? I like this mechanic. So I've been thinking about Labyrinth recently, and I'm starting to feel like the Delve cart should have been in Labyrinth instead of Delve. That, and they really need to just go out of their way to make Divine Vessels available as, like, enchantment holders. Since I think every player who actually plays this game somewhat actively on League has, like, 25 Divine Vessels that they have absolutely no use for and will never sell. Vindicative says, my 6-link impulses became a sweet cloud of dust from Double Fall. Dude, what is going on with Impulsas? I've dropped 3 this league, and I can't tell whether the super high price early league, like, they sold in order for, like, 160C, 90C, and then 40C. And I'm sitting here like, wait, is the most common fucking chest piece on casters on the entire planet also, like, T3 rarity? I hope that to buy your 1 chaos item in standard. See, because I used to not play leagues. While Bestiary was running, I just said fuck it and played a fucking Headhunter Flicker in standard just to pass some time. And it was a fun experience, but man, trading for anything in standard is absolute suffering. I did manage to score myself a +1 Frenzy Carnage Heart, though. I gotta take a look at that character again. Now that there's so much new stuff in the game since I put it together. I'm sitting here like, maybe the character I put the Headhunter on should also maybe not be the 5k life Flicker Striker. Maybe I can put a little bit of work in on that front.
Let the day dawn.
Wow, door.
Possibility.
Three flasks.
The weary traveler draws close to the end of slow.
Indicator says, waiting for that 2-hand meta in the expansion, or at least a dismantling of stat sticks. Yeah, there's a lot of things they could do to stat sticks, but I really feel like something needs to be done. Because I largely think that Shaper and Elder mods are at least reasonably balanced in terms of like overall power compared to rarity and like difficulty to acquire. But
Wisdom is the offspring of suffering. And
physical
time.
added as elemental, not only is it making 2-hand meta really, really bad, but it also creates issues for builds that want to be pure physical. Like, pure physical is in such a weird place because any buffs to physical become buffs to hybrid or elemental because of the existence of stat sticks and so many strong conversion tools. Like, sometimes you just want to play brutality, you know? But man, does brutality ever suck dick? It's like you have to justify wearing a Starforge. What a weird feeling. Envy asks, is Azami you but faster? Because it looks like he has a constant AoE around him. Yeah, he's running Energy Shield Righteous Fire. He got his character together really fast. It's pretty strong, too. Dude's got some super strong gear that I don't have. Fucking global defenses, Eyes of the Great Wolf, okay. Cool area.
Where there's a silver key, there must be a silver door.
Vindicator says, equip a 2-hander with a 1-hand stat stick. Oh no! Yeah, Kieran's saying, give away to dual-wield 2-handers. I'm kind of surprised they haven't already touched on that in some capacity. Maybe that would be an acceptable upside to wearing Gruthkels. It's like no spells, but you can wear 2-handers. Because that's the only fucking thing I can think of that would actually offset the ability to not use spells at all. Maybe it's better for the game that Gruthkels doesn't get strong, though. My flasks. Fuck. Because the zombie's base movement speed is a little higher than mine. Ow. Thank God for absurd amounts of life regen. What if I died at traps? Not even gonna pick you up, Astronaut's Mark. Wait, Vine Circlet, what the fuck is that? I don't even know. I don't even remember, but I know that that base is not worth my time.
To strike, an emperor strikes without hesitation. To entertain doubt is when one
Oh my god, you're so you're fucking gem swapping conch effect? BRB, what a hero. Oh yeah, it's Crown of Thorns or whatever. Thanks, Wells. Yeah, dude is gem swapping to conch effect, meanwhile I've got conch effect in the helmet.
You were born for this.
Such as the weird shit involved with running Martyr and actually attempting to scale Vengeance. I might rethink that helmet after a while. Now that I'm no longer actually trying to deal damage with Vengeance because of the low proc rate and kind of weird issues with accuracy. Where did you go? Oh, you're all the way up there. Okay. Ow. Thanks for locking the door behind you. What even happened here? Labyrinth is hard. Thank you. Wow, how many fucking auras? Jesus. Guardian RF is so strong. And the dude's got his Mana Watcher's Eye, so... But he's running like 18k energy shield or something stupid like that. Like 6k life is nothing to sneeze at, especially when it's accompanied by 79 block and 79 spell block. It makes for a pretty resilient character once you have the regen to cover for stray hits.
An aspirant can afford to be promising. An emperor must keep those promises.
But I do like the weird shit.
Navigate your empire through troubled waters.
More than anything, I think. Wes and I have a good relationship because he'll just come up with stupid shit like, yeah, dude, just do block RF, just use a Martyr of Innocence and Aberraths, and I'll be like, huh, you know what, that sounds stupid enough that I could be bothered to level it for 50 hours. And so he gets to theory craft and see the results without ever actually playing Path of Exile. I can't tell. It's done. Okay, I don't recognize the fucking voice lines. Thanks, Izami. I should... Yeah, this is probably a good opportunity for me to enchant my fucking helmet, because there's no... Oh yeah, it's got a fucking Ground Slime Merc enchant on it. Alright. Pray for me. Pray for me. Flicker Strike. The game's trying to tell me something. Wait, that's the worst Flicker Strike enchant, though. Nobody wants to use Flicker Strike without Frenzy. What the fuck? Why is that even an enchant? See, Outmatch and Outlast is frustrating because I'm not getting kills with either weapon. 25% chance to get a Frenzy Charge on kill with main hand. Does Vengeance even count? Even in theory? I don't even know. Vindicative says, using Flicker Strike and Delve, bleh. Yeah, tell me about it. I've played Flicker Strike for like 4 or 5 leagues in a row, and it's one of my favorite character archetypes. I love the skill to death. But Delve came out, and I was like, okay, I can't roll League Start Flicker Strike because I'll flicker into the darkness and just kind of awkwardly putz around and not hurting anything and run into frenzies. Just big pain in the ass, which is why I rolled League Start Consecrated Path. And as far as I'm concerned, it worked pretty well. Like, it served its purpose as a league starter for sure. What bothers me is when I keep seeing people like evaluating Consecrated Path as like, wow, it's the better Flicker Strike. Like, maybe on the surface? I don't know. I feel like people who evaluate Consecrated Path as the better Flicker Strike are... There's a little bit of nuance that's lost there that I think is invisible to you if you've never played Flicker Strike for like an endgame character. Or like the way that Flicker Strike controls by necessity gives it a kind of quality of life that's... It makes it stand apart from a lot of other skills because it will literally target itself through your map automatically once you reach the breakpoint where you always kill what you hit and never move backwards. And that stuff is nutty. It makes it so fun to play on high pack size maps. Rest in peace, 12 Sextants on Underground River. But, God. It's just so funny. My map pool is just weird right now. Yeah, it's fine, I guess. Reduced chance to block should hurt me, but it's yellows, so whatever. Karen says it's the bridge between Flicker and other builds. Yeah, I guess. Consecrated Path definitely doesn't have a lot of the setup issues that, like, Flicker Strike needs a lot of support on your character, which is why you typically end up with weird ways of scaling it. I think the strongest Flicker I ever built relative to the overall power level of characters in that league was an Inquisitor Flicker Strike using Auros. With the idea being that critical strikes force elemental ailments, so you don't need to actually get chance to ignite anywhere. Of course, now that combustion is a thing, why would you not use it? Diviner's Box. I should probably roll that. I don't actually know how to roll strong boxes, really, so let's just take a whole bunch of random currency and see what happens. We want some alts, maybe? Augs? I've already got Augs. Alright, this is fine. Should probably clear out the surrounding area. Vindicator says Golden Rule Flicker Strike, kind of enjoyed that. You know, I never got the chance to play Red Trail Golden Rule Flicker Strike. It's the one variant that I haven't played, I think. Additional divination cards that give unique items. You know what, I'm fine with that. Silver coins, nice, good use of a regal. I don't even know which one of these was supposed to be viable. I'll run a 6 for belly, I guess. I feel like I'm obligated to give some kind of, like, cursory attempt to roll strong boxes, but really I'm just like... I don't know, man, I click on stuff and monsters come out. Karen says, you never played Tripanon Flicker. Tripanon Flicker is not a build. That's not a Flicker Strike archetype. That's an abomination unto God. It's not a good way to use Flicker Strike or Tripanon. God. Karen says, I will give you my Relic Tripanon to play Flicker with it. No! It's so bad! You fucking link me videos with Tripanon Flicker and I'm sitting here like, I could do better than this character, given half the currency. And it doesn't even play in any particularly novel way for a Flicker Striker. Like, there's no difference in overall play or, like, core engine used. It's just you're strapping a normal engine to a bad weapon. And not using any of the actual traits of that weapon in a way that synergizes with the trait of the skill. Ashix asks, can you cast while channeling Flicker? Well, Flicker isn't a channeling skill, so my guess is no, although I've been wrong about the keyword system before. Shoutouts to Rain of Arrows. Shoutouts to Magma Orb. Hashtag make Cyclone channeling. Man, the piano jazz station is mad fucking quiet today. It's like... This is probably the lowest key thing I've played on my stream in, like, ages. Definitely a weird, weird atmosphere. I think I like it, though. This is kind of my mental place when I play Path of Exile most of the time. It's like, I'm here, there are monsters on the screen, I guess. Karen says, hashtag make Sunder a projectile. God. Sunder as a projectile skill. I don't even want to know why you think that's necessary or what it would look like. I have no charges. No, I have charges. I've been thinking about what I want my next build to be. I feel like it's going to end up being some kind of actual, like, usable weapon consecrated path. Because during my time with that skill at Leak Start, it ended up being pretty fun. I don't know, though. I've definitely seen some strong consecrated path variants. The very minimal amount of setup you have to do to get the skill running smoothly means that you have a lot more freedom to scale it in basically whatever fashion you like. Which is pretty neat. Vindicative says, Fork Chain Sunder build incoming. Oh no! Wait, Snake Pit Sunder. Double Snake Pit Sunder, let's do it. Become the Abyss. Oh no. Do I have chisels in here? I've got one chisel. Nice. I've got a chisel div card. There we go.
Hello?
Navali, save me.
Fate awaits you.
Oh, I don't have completion on Basilica. Who wants to see me break this Basilica map into the fucking ground? Alright, point blank. 42 monster life might be kind of dodgy on the boss, I don't know. Let's just do it. Ooh. Okay, Ellie weakness means I have to portal on the boss probably, which is kind of unfortunate. But this actually looks a little less horrifying. I don't know. Maybe 35% attack speed screws me on the boss, I'm not sure. Twill says, greetings, Tyron. Hey, Twill. Thanks for dropping in. I'm not gonna bloodline Zid. I like my Vols. The strat that I've got going right now is basically, if something rolls over 80 quant naturally, you bloodlines or onslaught it, and otherwise you just vol it and throw it into the device. And it's been working pretty well for me. Ellie weakness in maps is based on the category of the map. I think white, yellow, and red maps all have different magnitudes of elemental weakness. But if you have a warding flask, who gives a shit? That is my only method of mitigating elemental weakness right now, though. I actually think that my cold and lightning res may not even be capped without endurance charges. So I don't think my charges will save me versus red map Ellie weakness. Hey, do you want to fucking die? Thanks. Actually, man, I'd be interested to hear from people who are like kind of at top end here. I've been using Onslaught nearly as much as Bloodlines when it comes to like putting currency into maps, and I actually think that, oh hey, it's another one of these fucking things. I don't know why Malachi's Artifice comes up with the fucking red background. Anyway, more and more I've been using Onslaught instead of Bloodlines on maps. And I'm wondering what people think of that, like if anyone's tried that recently. I feel like the lower initial buy-in, like the relative return you get from it is actually pretty impressive. Just because Bloodlines itself no longer actually gives increased quant, it's just a PAX. So for maps that are already decently high rolled, it seems like Onslaught is actually nearly as worth. So Ashik spelled Mirage Archer with a J, and it lit up in my chat client because the message contained AJ. And I have messages that contain my name or username set to light up pink so that I can respond to questions. I don't think that's a complaint about your spelling, I just thought it was interesting because I'm a dumbass. Alright, here's the arena. I don't know if I've fought this boss before. It might be time for me to lose a lot of experience.
Tread no further.
Uh-oh. Don't you hit me with the fucking laser. So we don't talk about we don't talk about me not understanding boss mechanics. Oh god, that's really spicy. I at least have a chance to get back charges during the ad phase. Wait, why am I degenning still? What's on me? Jesus. That's so obnoxious! Ah, why did this have to be Shaper influenced? Just completely jacking my regen. Ah! Did I live? I 100% died. I don't even know. Are my auras off? We're about to find out, I guess. No, my auras are on. Alright, here we go. Yeah, this whole business with more monster life. I'm not into it. Ow. Holy shit! Who wants to come fucking kill this thing for me? This is horrible. I can't fucking dodge mechanics because I have to A Zimboid. You and your Eyes of the Great Wolf. Come get your free shit. Actually, will this kill you too? It's like, yeah, let's just do T15 completion when the character's not finished. Hey, something actually made a zombie take damage. Imagine that. Hey, buddy. You might want to be careful, my friend. This is riveting. Alright, my grace period's about to run out. Excuse me. It's swole, dude. I told you. It's fucking large. I don't even know why. This character's always going to be kind of weak to degen because of the nature of its defenses. Like, my defenses are regeneration and block, and that's basically what I've got. Oh boy. Is that max eye level? Is that why it fucking made the noise? 82. Good enough. Yeah, it was fucking swole for no reason. Oh yeah, ally weakness too. Fucking flask's hard. Appreciate that. Alright, now at 122 completion. Amazing. What are sextants? Why am I looking at Atlas to see what I have what completion I have left when I should be looking at my map tab instead? I still have Pillars of Arun here, but I've been too lazy to link up a real movement skill, so It remains uncompleted. Lazy piece of shit. Alright, let's get some polite yellow maps out of the way. I'm done with, running reds that want me fucking dead. Will says I have 9 ID scrolls. Sell transmutes. Transmutes go, what, like 4 to 1? You literally just throw them at the vendor, and scrolls come out. I haven't actually picked up scrolls since like 3 leagues ago. Except for when my filter shows scrolls and I'm too lazy to fucking hide them. Let's just run random T9s, fuck it. I just want a level. None of this jacked up tier 15 boss nonsense. I don't even know what mods are on this thing. LA weakness again, okay. Yeah, at some point getting this character naturally capped for early weakness would be a big help. And then the Watchers I have got on is unaffected by vulnerability when you have determination, as well as the vitality property, if I remember correctly. So maybe I could work that in if I got like some kind of psychotic mana reservation setup going on. Maybe drop the Blasphemy Flammability and instead of using that, use like LE weakness on hit gloves. Lower value for sure. Come on, can you just fucking port in so I can keep my charges? No, apparently. Dick ass. Garbage. But yeah, I've never played a Regis Fire character before, so scaling it has been interesting. Azami is playing the exceedingly well-researched Meta Guardian version. And I'm impressed by how quickly he managed to put it together, honestly. Fucking, when it comes to surviving weird boss nonsense, sometimes that character makes mine look like a fucking paper airplane. Because just the sheer power of high regen and high initial pool, that's like the definition of no moving parts. I think it's a defense that works a little bit more naturally for Righteous Fire than something like Block. Even though I do like Block. Hey, somebody wants to buy my Cold Snap. Pay no attention to my extremely lazy price my items for me tab setup. That's a kick button now instead of a leave party thing. Ever since I switched to macros, I've been getting used to the new one's default mappings. I mean, what do you mean? I don't use macros. But yeah, LE weakness in the gloves. The problem is that I also want gloves with like high resistances and probably like 120 life. So at some point you're just like making items in Path of Building and then staring wistfully at the screen, making fucking bedroom eyes. Like, wouldn't it be nice if this item actually existed on the planet? Honestly though, it's easier than ever to just craft garbage. With the amount of fossils we have to work with, since the other players in our little group around here have been super busy with low-depth fossil farming. That is the wrong hideout, my friend. Thank you. People who actually place their chaos into the trade window are heroes. Okay, this is done, right? Yeah. So I've had some time to think about Yggdra Union. I think I probably am gonna leave it for now. I don't want to say that I'm like not going to continue ever, but I'm definitely not interested in moving with it at the moment. I've got Dead Space 2 lined up for Halloween, assuming like no other surprise obligations come up out of nowhere. Ha ha ha, implying I leave my house. But in the meantime, I'll probably look into something else to tackle as a single-player side project. Maybe in the meantime, play some more shmups. I want to make some progress on Blue Revolver, Zero Ranger, Doronpachi Defukatsu. Apparently Undine is actually an entire class of mythical creature, rather than a specific thing that like Yggdra Union made up or something. And I didn't know that until Frey let me know. I don't know why I shared that information other than the fact that I found it mildly interesting. What surprised me the most about Yggdra is how many pieces of the game just seem to exist for no reason. The whole thing has kind of an airport feel to it, like things are a little bit too cramped and a little bit too noisy, and there's always this hurry up and wait feeling. Watching your skill bar fill. Can I kill this before it does the fucking scream attack of death? Come on. There we go. Wakawara. Says there's some wild shit that goes down through the campaign. Yeah, I get the feeling that the game is setting up for a big shark jump. You don't just introduce genocide as like a subplot without something more insane to follow it up with later. By the way, for those of you who weren't there for my Yggdra Union plays, yes, they do actually just have a genocide subplot referenced in like the first couple of hours of the game. Wild. And yeah, I guess it is what that one Undertale character is named after. LA Reflect. Physical Reflect, that's fine. I'll just fall it. Less armor, reduced chance to block. I only had to do a Verici 8 service once this league. The dude was super chill about it. I've never actually crafted a corrupted item before. Very chill, guided me through the process. I'd link his forum thread, but I don't remember. I didn't bookmark it. I did vouch it. So if somebody can find my account name, and you'll know the guy that I trust, I guess. Asks, what does genocide subplot mean? Because it can't mean what those words normally mean when you put them together. It actually, honest to God, appears to be a sequence where, like, an evil empire attempting to literally destroy an entire race of mythical creatures with, like, fantasy eugenics. Okay, that's a little bit of a stretch, but I still feel justified. It appears to be setting up for something else entirely. Like, this is just a plot element that's casually introduced without a lot of fanfare. They're human intelligence, too. With, like, advanced societies and shit. Yggdra Union is weird because it tackles this immediately after Millinor getting extremely hyped up over committing arson. Twill says, I mean the next arc is literal nuclear arms race. No! Jesus Christ. No! Hikari says, I still want you to play more Yggdra Union. I kind of want to play more Yggdra Union 2, but definitely not right now. And I don't want to provide a time frame either, because otherwise it'll just hang over my head. So instead I'll say that while it's not something that I wasn't having fun with outright, it's not something that I'm interested in continuing with right now. I think that has to be, like, I have to reserve my own right to say I don't want to play this if I'm gonna tackle a whole bunch of viewer suggestions at once. I was motivated to get to skills because I was curious about skills, and the skill system turned out to be not really what I expected it to be. And so now I'm just like, I mean, I guess I can tackle it when I'm like, I don't know. Noises. God, temp chains is so annoying, especially when you don't know how to clear maps in the correct order. I'd like to see temp chains reworked into something that is a little bit less annoying for actual map traversal. It just bothers me, I don't know. Aura says, I feel like Yggdra Union is some weird cross-product of Newgrounds and Fire Emblem. Yeah. The voice work is like... I actually love Milanore's voice work. I came to that conclusion after some careful deliberation. I think I love Milanore as a character. He's like the only dick-headed protagonist that I think I actually appreciate in that way. But man, the performance absolutely sells every bit of his writing. I was so surprised. Like, he's just so over the top. Hikari says, is he truly the protagonist, or is he just a supporting character to Yggdra? She's in the box art, isn't she the protagonist? Yeah, Yggdra's the protagonist of Yggdra Union in the same way that Elowood is the protagonist of Fire Emblem 7. Like, yeah, the plot is ostensibly about you, but everybody knows who's really in charge. Oh, it's Twinned Malagaro, how nice. No. Oh god, now I have no flasks too. Let's get out of here. As long as I'm actually on my consecrated ground, this actually isn't as scary as it should be. But what am I degenning to now? I don't even know. Fucking video game. Kind of bothers me sometimes that the only way I feel like I can actually know what degen effects I'm under is to, like, mouse over the icons at the corner of my screen. Although, to be fair, it also took me kind of a ridiculous amount of time to figure out how the overcharged Weta stuff in Delve works. Like, when you see a big fucking spike, you get out of the way because it leaves a cold snap patch. Wow. Aura says, I can never keep a straight face when Flunky gets a chance to speak. Yeah, Flunky. The disjoint between, like, the way characters are sprited, their portrait art, their map sprite, and, like, their actual voice as performed in-game is hilarious. Oh yeah, I have no bleed immunity, I just have a fucking, corrupting blood jewel. I might have to rethink my flasks at some point. I'm not really hurting for the lack of chill and freeze immunity because freezes are typically short duration on me and don't really threaten me as much as they would other characters. But I'm sitting here wondering if it's worth for me to switch to the Bleed Pantheon and get the Divine Vessel upgrades required for that so I can mitigate bleed a little bit further. Because I really don't want to use a magic flask. All my unique flasks are so strong. Although if push came to shove, I could get rid of Dying Sun and my Overflowing Chalice and replace them with magic flasks for ailment immunity. Just negate poison and bleed entirely. Dying Sun isn't doing that much for me, but the AoE is a very, very nice little quality of life thing. It doesn't mean quite the same thing as an extra projectiles in a projectile character, for sure, but I'm wary of getting rid of it. Well, says rare flasks win. Oh my goodness, rare utility flasks. Can you imagine? Zami asks, how far are you on Delve? I haven't climbed too much. Yeah, I hanged out for a lot of the lifetime of this character and my previous characters this league. I just farmed at like depth 100 because I was getting decent returns and decent XP. I've only started pushing the last couple of, like the last week or two maybe. Now that this character is actually starting to come together, and I'm at like depth 270 right now or something. It's really not impressive. I don't know how much deeper I'm interested in pushing, honestly. Like, I'd like to be at the point where I can reliably get, like, strong crafting bases from it, but it seems like the strategy for Delve is just to hang out at low depths and fossil farm on a fast character. Like, that's the real way to use your sulfite. So much cash is coming from that strategy. I think if more people were aware of how Delve rewards were actually assigned, fossil prices would drop to the extent where things would kind of normalize again. Like, because the intuitive understanding, if you've played leagues like this before, is that, oh, the super rare, super powerful league rewards are going to be locked behind doing endgame versions of the league content. And that's not true. You can find prime resonators at depth 20. And in fact, both of my roommates found one yesterday at depth 20. It's kind of crazy, actually. I feel like they had to adjust it a little bit, if I'm being perfectly honest, but for now, it's just kind of something you have to be aware of in terms of, like, how to make the most currency out of your resources. Do I really want to go around and do that? Alex says, I wish they'd made Fossil Stack. Hey, good to see you again. Yeah, apparently they're not going to do a tab for it. They have no plans to do that. It wasn't held back so they could sell you a Delve tab or anything. Chris Wilson has confirmed as much. Apparently the back-end related operations for allowing items like fossils and resonators to stack. Apparently the back-end shit associated with it is a little bit trickier than it first appears, and they're working on the tech for it. And at the same time, it's like, well, you made fucking that Zeri fragment stack with no problems in the currency tab, right? Why not do something like that? But I have a lot of sympathy for, like, things shouldn't be hard, but they are anyway. As someone who has spent way too much goddamn time programming with absolutely no understanding of how to program, really. Like, I'm savvy, I guess, but I don't think I could ever put up with doing that shit as a career. Oh yeah, I have chisels again, so now I can probably, let's run some reds or something. What connects to a racecourse? Promenade and Lair. Alright, so let's run a Promenade. Get a super stack Promenade and see if we can get a racecourse. Ellie Reflect. Nope. Pulling over that. Reduced flask charges is kind of but let's just bloodlines it and see what happens. Azami says, Delve provides a pretty nice way of getting past the upper 90s, it seems. Yeah, the amount of access it gives you to high-level monsters to kill for experience for what is essentially free. Like, as long as you're running maps in some capacity, Delve will feed you the monsters you need to make progress and continue to level. It seems pretty strong, and it's probably the reason that I've been able to level this character relatively painlessly, is because every time you fill up your sulfite, it's like, hey, let's go get half a fucking level at the early 90s. So at the late 90s, it's probably a big help for the push, at least. Wells says, my guess is the socket/socketable nature of the items. And yeah, that's true for resonators, but I don't really understand why fossils would be subject to that same restriction. In any case, hopefully they get things worked out. It would be nice to see stuff like resonators stackable. Alex says, nice tabula. Thanks, I have to brick one tabula every league to put in the center of my currency tab for good luck. It's an offering to the random number goddess. She gets very excited about Vol Orbs. So, I've corrupted so many fucking tabulas, and I still have never seen +1 gems. One of these days, because I've corrupted more tabulas than anyone I know personally, for sure. And I've never even seen, like, a decent corruption either, like, nothing anyone would ever want. Corruptions that are strong on tabulas without adding level requirement to them and making them very difficult to sell are pretty few and far between. Most of the time you corrupt a tabula, and then if it doesn't brick, it's either the corruption was nothing, in which case it's just a tabula, or you sell it for a divine orb because your chance of selling a tabula with requirement 68 is pretty slim. I wish Aberraths were a little bit more visible with this. I feel like the Celestial Righteous Fire effect basically completely obscures the actual Aberrath hit effect. That might be because I'm wearing footprints, though. I'm not sure. I don't think it should be. So yeah, stretch upgrades for this character are probably like... It would be nice to get a 2-prop Watcher's Eye, so I could get some sort of generic leech, but the more feasible way is probably to get the leech as a boot enchantment on Aberraths. So that would run me something like a couple of exalts instead of 30 exalts. 30 to 40 for the last one that I saw up, but the one below it was a mirror, and it was only a 2-prop vitality jewel, so who knows. I don't know what rate those are being generated at. In the meantime, you think, I don't know, we get leech on the boots, get some kind of curse on hit gloves with strong life and resistances so that I can give up the blasphemy curse and unreserve 25 to 30% mana to allow for some type of more beneficial aura. Maybe I run Purity of Elements so I can slack on resist on the rest of my gear or something. Who knows? $82. Nothing about that is too scary. Let me just slam it in with bloodlines. Spending chaos on the Zana mods can feel kind of bad at first because it's pretty rare for you to directly get the currency back right away in the map. Like, you don't get it back in raw C. But the additional packs with the additional quantity in the case of Onslaught, which I think is nearly as good as Bloodlines right now, is, you'll typically get a pretty significant amount back in bubblegum currency. Plus, Quant is one of the only ways to meaningfully affect map returns. So if you're struggling to sustain but not putting currency into your maps, then, well, one way or another, you gotta spend currency on efficiently sustaining. You gotta spend on maps, or you gotta buy maps, one or the other. Let me just walk back into the fucking bearer, it's no big deal. Totally not threatening. Don't you lightning warp away from me. I wonder how fast I can trash that triple essence if I actually pre-activate Valorantist Fire. Wow. You're kind of feisty, huh? Oh well. Let's chill. Why are you like this? Cool piano. See, that's much nicer. Ooh, I actually really like those chords. Let's go. Wait, these Marcus. Assassinate the target within the time limit. Are you the target? You are not the target. You are not the target. Here's the fucking dance. Hey, buddy. How's it hanging? There we go. I've been slacking on Garichi so much. Like, he's not even 6 yet. Look at that. I think the only master I'm shittier about is Katarina. I'm waiting for the other masters to get reworks similar to Zana's. Forsaken Masters is kind of showing its age at this point. You walk into an Elrion daily and then compare that to like literally any Delph encounter. And it's like, huh, these are pretty different points of the game's life cycle, huh? Elrion missions feeding you 3 mobs every 20 decades. Meanwhile, you walk into Delve and do the drop bear room and it's just like, hey, would you like XP falling from the ceiling constantly? It's just absolutely fucking crazy. Troll says, fuck yeah, drop bears. Yeah, dude. The drop bear encounter is amazing. See, sometimes those hits look a little bit large. I still want to get myself a little bit more effective HP. Like, okay, you're gonna laugh at this tree, right? I have to pop the strongbox first, but... Get ready for the weird shit that I did to this tree to make the character work temporarily as I transition to a couple new pieces and a different method of scaling. Yeah! Righteous fire character that goes to the Scion life wheel and then fucks off to space! It's like, what are you doing? That actually, I've been thinking about just chopping off this entire portion of the tree. Because these travel points feel kind of bad, especially, like, we're going out here for Shaper and the life regen points in front of this jewel socket. But I'm wondering if I could get more value out of just, like, specking some hanging pieces of life in the tree that already exists, and then, like, ditching the travel. Maybe I don't need all of this life regeneration here. I don't need this 1.7% now that I've got the Watcher's Eye. I'm not sure. Oh, my mic is a little bit lower than usual, huh? That's unusual. I don't know why it's like that right now. Hold on, let me tweak something. Hello. Did I accidentally turn off, like... Oh, okay, that's... Okay, so my monitoring was mono there for a second. How about this? Line level versus instrument level. Huh. I think Premiere is trolling me. Either that or Discord adjusted my mic volume by mistake. Thanks for letting me know, by the way. Sometime I'm still working. Yep, here we go. Wait, no, that's not right. That's the playback device, not the recording device. What do you mean? Where does this limiter even think it is? Is the limiter on master? Let's just roll this up a little bit. Huh, not even that's doing it. Doesn't want me to... Oh, hello. Hi, good evening. That's more than I expected. Okay, how about this for now? I think we'll just leave it there. Yeah, I can't... I swear it's either Audition or OBS that's doing some weird thing where it's automatically adjusting levels. Hikari says, I kind of liked it where it was TBH. Oh, should I go for somewhere in between then? Let's see. Welcome to the Tyrants. I'm a school of audio engineering where I don't know what the fuck I'm doing because I change my stack every 3 days. So to go for like something a little bit more like this. I feel like this should still be at least somewhat audible above it. Yeah, I feel like this is better. Did I, like, change my mic gain or something? Is it because of the mic distance? If I literally just, like... Okay, we'll go here. I'm working with a lot of new pieces in the audio setup, which is kind of weird. Like, just working with 2 microphones in general for stuff like having Wes on mic during Path streams every once in a while. It's a weird dynamic, and I am not an engineer. 65, volley. I actually want to look into that at some point and see what might be changing the monitoring volume. I feel like I get a more natural sound when my mic is a little bit farther away, especially if I'm like going through a limiter anyway. I want to avoid a lot of the proximity effect, but I don't know. I feel like I put a little bit too much stock into the audio setup, but then again, every time I try to browse Twitch directories and get somebody who's clearly using a webcam microphone with 30 dB mic boost... Actually, okay, so this is something that I've seen basically all of my roommates do, and it tilts me off the face of the planet, and I want to know if anybody else is like bothered by this shit when you see it. People who leave their system volume at like 1 billion and then adjust every program individually, whether it's through Mixer or through the program's own audio settings, super low. I see Wes and Daryl doing that shit, and it just makes me want to... I'm gonna break out in hives, I swear to God. It's like, why are you doing this? Why are you setting what's clearly an overall preference for your volume level on a per application basis? What do you want? Hi. My name is Tyrone Sama, and I'm a little bit neurotic sometimes. Goodbye, Azami. Hikari says, the biggest problem with that, at least for me, is that I change volume of different applications based on what's actually happening at the time. YouTube especially has wildly different volumes per video. The thing about YouTube is actually, it's supposed to have a volume leveling algorithm. It's supposed to do that silently, but it just doesn't. And because of loudness war shenanigans, you get people just exporting at progressively louder volumes until, like, anything that's actually normalized at a broadcast standard turns out to be incredibly quiet. Euphoria asks, yo AJ, what do you think of the new Reddit redesign, or do you just use RES anyway? I use RES, but occasionally I don't. I think the Reddit redesign is a little messy. I've never really been particularly attached to the old design either, but I mean, like, because in the end, I don't use Reddit much except for, like, keeping up with a handful of niche game communities and, like, monitoring for vaguely useful utility applications for Twitch broadcasters. I don't like to use it as a discussion platform because it's kind of bad for that, so it's just kind of a check once daily sort of aggregate. And for that, I'm usually using a mobile client. So, like, as long as they don't destroy the API, which they are apparently doing their best to do with stuff like v.reddit links, then I don't really care what they do with the stock desktop site. Now the mobile site, the current state of the mobile site. Oh, hello. Hey there. That's 2 in 1 day. Let's fucking go. 13 months from AMP. Thank you very much for your incredibly bad financial choices. $25 reduce. Why did you do this? Appreciate it, dude. How's it hanging? Good to see ya. Back to running fucking yellows because I have no chisels and I'm too lazy to buy chisels. Hamp says, I'm going to nap now. I just really had to get that money out of your pocket beforehand, huh? Wild. Well, enjoy your nap, I guess. That sound becomes progressively more ridiculous. The chiller the stream by default actually is. Like, I'm usually a little higher energy than this, but Path is a game that's always kind of been like... It's a very flow state experience for me. I like to play characters that kind of like run themselves without a lot of moving parts or complex mechanical inputs. Freezes you inactivated. I don't give a shit. Amp says, I came by to announce how stupid I am, and also because the stream helps me sleep. Well, hey. Maybe I ought to start reading bedtime stories or something. It's cool that people can use the audio like that, though. I definitely appreciate that I managed to create something that works for that. Alex says that's the ultimate point of convergence for all PoE characters. Yeah, the character that runs itself, right? Ideally, every character wants to be a character that runs itself and doesn't have to care about any, like, outgoing damage in the entire game. And the degree to which you can actually do that kind of depends on the amount of power that the system gives your core concept to begin with. Aura asks, can AJ Dub go the fuck to sleep? I considered reading loop filter sounds, like, you know how they got the fucking loop filter shit for, like, Shaper voice? I wanted to do something like that. I'm no longer super involved with Reflex right now, but I also kind of want to revisit the idea of doing a Reflex announcer again. Or hell, maybe because I don't really like the male voice in the, as far as the Zero Ranger announcer goes. Maybe I could, like, submit a dubbed version or something and see what they think of it. I don't know. Aura says, currently using this to background music for coding, and it's pretty cozy. I'm glad. The Reflex announcer was pretty good, honestly. I liked it, but I did so many fucking... Because I did so many takes of every line. By the end of it, my throat was cracked as all hell. My heart goes out to actual fucking voice actors. Like, anybody who uses their voice for, like, anything remotely resembling that. Because actually projecting in the way that's required to, like, put power into lines like that... Oh my goodness, it's fucking... It's exhausting. Hello? Hello? Oh, I don't even have a flame dash. Couldn't even see. I just gotta toggle the map for those situations because I can barely see the map over my gigantic fucking ring of garbage. That's the one thing about Celestial Righteous Fire, I think. I'd like the option to change the map colors so that I can see through the gigantic fuck circle. But yeah, let me actually put in a reminder on my phone for that. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce this, but I use an app called Notin, Notin, I guess, to just put quick little notes into my notification drawer as reminders. And I've got it mapped to my Bixby button, so that button actually serves anything resembling a remotely useful purpose, which is nice. Check Premiere monitoring levels. Add. Easy. Sulfide is getting pretty near cap. I wonder if I can finish this level by just low-depth delving. It would be nice if I could hit 93 in some kind of expedient sense. You gotta understand that, like, deliberately attempting to level is something kind of new to me in this game, honestly. Mostly I just want to play the character, and if the character happens to level while it's being played, that's just a bonus, really. And I feel like in general, people worry a little bit too much about pushing their characters. Like, there's some intuitive sense that if you're not doing the hardest content that's available to your character at all times, you're wasting time. But nothing in the endgame actually hits you with drop penalties. Like, you can run white maps for a while and still see currency, and sometimes even see half-decent rares. Like, obviously, the rewards for running high content are better, sure, but they're not so much better that you need to force your character in there before it runs smoothly. That's why I haven't actually bothered to put a freeze flask back on this character, by the way. Is that thus far? Oh, hey! Would you look at that? The Professor and the Saint's... Ooh, yeah, that's a 2 Exile diff card. The Saint's Treasure. Let me fucking look at that thing. Saint's Treasure is 1 out of 10 for 2x, so 1 is 1/5 of an Exalt. So yeah, going for like 22C. I love that fucking noise for high value drops, honestly. Something about it just makes me a happier person. Alright, activate. This was one of the bosses that gave my super old Aberrath's of All Righteous Fire character a little bit of trouble. That was the Herald Assassin that used 6-link VRF with Volpact Instant Leech, back when VRF was just a single detonation for 1 billion damage, and just scaled burning off that to burn every single boss to death in one shot. But bosses with multiple phases caused it a lot of problems at the time. Plus, obviously, you can't use vault skills to kill bosses like Azaro because they won't let you take charges in. And even if you do gain charges when hitting unique enemies now, it's not exactly the same thing. Twill says, "Oh shit, it's a poet's pen? Nice. Time to vol it immediately. A man after my own heart." I love Vol Orbs. Vol Orbs are some of the... Vol Orbs, I think, I can make a case for them being, if not the smartest, at the very least, they are the funniest currency sink in any RPG ever created. They are so goddamn stupid, it's amazing. It's like, what if we just gave players an incentive to blow up their items like an overwhelming majority of the time, for the chance of an incremental, very small increase in power? And then everybody does it! And you have to pay for the privilege! Like, good God. Let's go delving. Why am I in Act 6? What are you doing? Twill, did you vol it? Twill says it's how they control the economy. Yeah, for sure. It's like, you definitely need sinks in games like these to control for rapid inflation, considering that resources are literally infinite. But hey. Yeah, I guess I can keep going deep. Do I want to take this route? I guess I'll just take the route that I can actually see more depth on. Got 13 flares, and that's the wrong direction, Crawler. Are you drunk? Wait, what? Something dropped over... How did this happen? Oh, Stream Deck update. Thanks for tabbing me out of my fucking game, by the way. I don't understand. Those were all in the darkness. How the fuck? I wasn't even over there yet. Tool-sized items drop out of barrels/vases and delves and don't get vacuumed with a crawler. Yeah, but like, I wasn't even near enough to break a vase there. Did a fucking monster do it? I've never seen that before. Not even close. I got a marker for it. Maybe I'll go back and try to see what happened later. I'm being so lazy about exploring side areas. Alright, go, crawler. I like Delph. This is not exactly an uncommon or complex sentiment, but Delve is the most fun I've had with a League mechanic in a very long time. I think I like it more than anything except playing Beyond as a new player, because Beyond represented a constant threat that was just fucking hilarious playing as a new player in hardcore. Like back when we were on the level of like, make sure you buy sapphire rings to gear for Merveil. Like that type of shit, that type of not knowing how to play. Beyond represented the most hilarious threats on the planet. Every fucking Beyond encounter was super scary. Host shows up and you just freak out. Hikari asks, by the way, AJ, did you see that GDC talk video I pinged you for on the MMO channel? Regarding solo play in MMOs? I'm meaning to take a look at that later when I've got a couple minutes to just spare doing not much of anything at all. I definitely feel like it's important to have some sort of degree of support for players that want to avoid having a social experience in MMO while still having the experience of global context give the experience meaning for them. But at the same time, I feel like MMOs could benefit from like, not every MMO needs to have compatibility for that type of playstyle. I think it's okay for games to be a little bit more focused. But the nature of undertaking like developing an MMO is that it's inevitably a project by large teams with large resources and a lot of experience. And so typically just by the nature of like who's able to make MMOs in the first place, games end up being kind of almost obligated to have as much mass appeal as they can possibly create. Apparently to evolve this, oh, it's been into a yellow, nice. Whee! Okay, that freeze goes a little bit scary. But yeah, freezes like aren't what's threatening me, which is cool. And every other character I've ever built, I had to make freeze mitigation a big priority because it would just basically kill me every time it went off. Which is funny as hell, by the way. Ailments in this game are real as hell. Yeah, let's see how much deeper I can keep going. We're at what, depth 250? I thought it was a little bit deeper than that. Maybe I was at some point, but then hit a dead end. I think that might have been what happened. Alex says, corrupted blood TM. Oh, man. That's another thing, like... playing in Standard and then, like, going to Nemesis League as it started because I was like, oh, I can finally, like, play in a Challenge League with a clean economy. And realizing that, like, Corrupting Blood fucked up characters beyond all understanding and not having any idea of how to deal with it was just the worst. I know I said that I don't have a Staunching Flask or any sort of bleed immunity, but I did manage to pick this up. Corrupted Blood cannot be inflicted on you on a Grand Spectrum. Grand Spectrums are fantastic jewels for basically every elemental character, by the way. Especially for their relative price. Kari asks, didn't Extra Credits literally do a video on Corrupted Blood just this past week? The actual effects that it had? I wouldn't know about that. I haven't been keeping up with Extra Credits. It would surprise me to see them going so in-depth on a single mechanic, though. Interesting. Oh, the WoW epidemic. Oh yeah, is that what it was called? Misparsed then. I'm thinking of Corrupted Blood and Path of Exile, which is, hey, when you swing at this thing, you get bleed stacks that eventually kill your character if it's geared to attack quickly, like every character in the fucking game is. Alex asks, is there any reason to pick any other minor god other than the one that gives Burning Ground immunity? Well, let's see. Evade attacks if you've taken a savage hit recently. I like that, even if it's kind of, like, invisible. Reduced reflected damage taken. I've used this in the past in conjunction with, the other reflect reducing node on the tree and, Sybil's Lament, the unique ring, to make myself effectively immune to reflect while not really having reflect immunity, and it can help in a lot of situations, but it's less relevant now that you don't randomly get fucking reflect packs with like real reflect. I'm using this obviously because reduced fire damage taken while moving is pretty relevant for an Abereth's character that uses Vol Righteous, not even Vol Righteous Fire, but standard Righteous Fire. If I wasn't using that, I'd probably be using Gruthkull because blocked attacks count as hits and percent physical damage reduction is a pretty compelling defense against the most infamous character killers in the game. FBL Fan Chiefs asks, do you have a link to your current build? I'm sorry, I don't, but my profile is public, and if you'd like to use I believe that's my account name currently, and you're looking for the character Automated Motherfucker, all caps, you can grab that from the website or import it in Path of Building and take a look around. The basic premise is this, that it's a Martyr of Innocence, Abereth's Righteous Fire character that makes use of the Gladiator block mirroring stuff to fairly easily achieve 79% block, 79% spell block. And runs that as pretty much its only required defensive technique. Sorry, I know it's more convenient if I can just, like, link you to a character or a guide or something like that, but I haven't quite gotten that set up yet. Just getting back into streaming this game. Hikari says, the debuff from the raid would be able to taken out of the raid itself by pets and shit, and it spread like a real virus. Yeah, I heard about that. The shit about the fucking CDC using it as a way to model actual, like, pandemics. See, that's what really gets me about MMOs. Is just, like, the nature of the ecosystem creating a lot of situations that aren't possible in other genres. Waveplay says, interesting ducks? I'm not sure what you mean. Am I about to get... Oh, holy shit. You're kind of large. The fuck is all that about? I feel like I'm walking into a Ligma situation by responding to this, actually. That's the hardest hit I've taken in a while. It was with charges up too, damn. low deaths get fucking crazy. This isn't even that low, but like, I guess such is the nature of running fucking monster level 82 shit for like hours on end. This character probably really shouldn't be here yet, but it's working for now, hey. My play says, no, you just quacked the shit out of him. Quack. Why the fuck is my phone lighting up? What do you... I don't even have any friends. Get out of here. Hikari asks, so wait, remind me of this again. The cool floor effect on your character, is that the attack or is it just cosmetic? It is cosmetic, but it's also the attack. That is to say that if I do this and then turn off the microtransaction, it just becomes visible ring of fire. But the celestial effect is what gives it the fucking crazy portal to hell effect. There's a couple different microtransactions for Righteous Fire. If you were here earlier when Azami was running me through Uberlab, you saw the new Harbinger one, where it's all blue. Replacement skill effects are probably like the coolest microtransactions that this game actually offers. I don't like most of the cosmetic armor changes and shit like that. But skill effects, stuff like Loom Heralds, can really change the look of a character in surprising ways. Even if some of them are super fucking lazy recolors. Looking at you, Harbinger Stormcall. Looking at you, Black Immortal Call. Black Immortal Call is so blatant, too. It's like, at that point, why don't you just build the framework for recoloring every skill effect into the game? And just let us buy whatever fucking colors for every skill effect we want. I bet that'd make currency, too. I'd run around with fucking purple Righteous Fire. Play asks, in your opinion, which PoE build for this season yields the most eggs? I don't feel like I'm qualified to answer this question. Hikari says, the way that Guild Wars 2 forces you to make legendaries is fucking awful. Yeah, I quit Guild Wars 2 roughly after realizing that there was no endgame and that the legendary grind was all that was there. Also that fractals fucking sucked. Like, I try not to be as blunt and blatant about, like, ideas that are potentially interesting just turning out to be complete flops. But man, the combat implementation of some of the fucking encounters in Guild Wars. Fractals were fucking terrible. Now, granted, I only played, I didn't explore that fully either. Granted, I only played pre-Heart of Thorns. And I understand the game was a little bit more anemic back then. But man, there were cool encounters in that game and cool dungeons, and all the cool dungeons with like interesting trap sequences ended up being trivialized to skip all the traps by jumping through geometry and then stack in a corner and mash one to the boss. It's kind of disappointing. With that said, PvP would have been great if they removed the down system. As it is, reducing someone to 0 HP and then having to get a free moment in between getting CC'd by all their teammates and also them because you have a fucking control effect while you're downed for some reason. That was just unbelievably frustrating. Gecko shows up on his fucking alt account. I'm gonna have to clear out the tab at some point. I think I'll probably end when I do that. It seems like a nice way to end a session is just to bank all the fucking cash that you've got in your tab. Made some decent progress on XP today as well. Wells asks, what even is that hidden node? Contains a Harbinger. Huh. I don't know, man. I know I'm not gonna see an Exile shard, so I'm not bothering right now. Wayplay asks, where can I find this music? Several Google searches have not yielded me results. This is the Audio Addict jazz radio station Piano Jazz. Search Audio Addict Jazz Radio, and there's a bunch of free radio stations back there. I will shill for their premium service, because it is, like, pretty alright. And that's what I'm using at the moment, but you should be able to listen free. I don't know what the ad situation is right now. Hopefully it's not too obnoxious. But yeah, that's where I get, the super relaxed background music for Path streams in particular. It just seems appropriate. Don't want something high octane when the character should be running smooth as a fucking, I don't know, something that's very smooth. Send tweet. Gecko says, I'm back, F. Congratulations. So is your alt still not banned for fucking restreaming Toku? Shoutouts to fucking Twitch moderation. Amazing. Yeah, I guess that portion of moderation just isn't automated then. Then again, given the amount of times that people have made it to the top of the League of Legends directory, literally just straight up streaming porn in the past couple of weeks, I can't say I'm terribly surprised. The turnover on reports is pretty bad. Wow. It's the ground effect, Jesus. Fucking overcharged Wetta's just heart jumping into my throat every time. I keep thinking that maybe it's time to take a look at the way that player damage scales quadratically, because I feel like the only metric that the way the difficulty scales in Path of Exile, I think, is getting to be a problem, and it's going to get worse as time goes on. Where, like, Guardians just have so much more fucking health than standard map bosses because it's the only way to make them challenging to top-end builds, and most sources of damage that are meant to be threatening to endgame characters just one-shot them instantly because there's no way to control the situation otherwise, because the game is balanced around logout macros and fucking several different layers of quadratic defense. Ugh. God, overcharged bullshit again. Actually, I think that was the poison eggs. Maybe I ought to get a curing flask or something. Anyway, the nature of it is that the game's in a pretty healthy state right now. I think build diversity is, like, despite the overwhelming power of tools like Shaper, offhand stat sticks, and Indigon, and the existence of immunity builds in general, I feel like the game is in a healthier place than it's seen in a while. But I can't help but think that for it to be, like, genuinely permanently healthy, something has to be done on a system level to, like, deal with the quadratic damage that some builds are capable of generating just by using multiple scaling sources at once. Some way of kind of closing the gap between tier 2 and tier 1 characters in such a way that they can create endgame content that doesn't represent, like, super binary, either you get one shot or you don't stuff. Wes has been fossil farming so much that the dude has stopped picking up resonators entirely. He's like, they just take up too much space, man, I don't know. Oh shit, I didn't refill flares, what a waste. Oh well, relaxing walk directly to the next node then. The weird thing about the scaling righteous fire for me is that, like, I've never played a character that gets so much reward from just investing purely into maximum life before. Like, you can pop up the path of building a node power overlay on the entire tree, and every single life node in the entire game is lit up as bright as a Christmas tree. Like, you want this, idiot. I'm thinking besides, like, just getting more maximum life, I'm sitting here thinking, what do we do? Just wear a green dream so that I can generate frenzy charges in some way, and then just swap my quartz flask for a silver or basalt, since frenzy charges means that I'll potentially be able to run phase run for phasing and also bump up my movement speed to the extent that running low maps becomes a little bit faster. Maybe at that point kind of start retooling the character towards being a lower depth fossil farmer, I don't know. And yeah, this is still Abereth's Righteous Fire, Martyr of Innocence. Fucking disaster. I like it. It's been fun so far. Next build I make is definitely gonna be an attacker, though. Flicker Strike and its ilk call to me once more. Oh yeah, I should have this up instead of the overlay map for Delve so that it's a little bit clearer when I'm missing side passages. Because no matter, even if you've got your map on 100% opacity, the corner map is always going to be considerably clearer when it comes to like actually being able to see shit. And so if you don't need pure distance to make judgments in terms of like, okay, how am I going to get to this location when I have to see more than like a small patch of map in my immediate vicinity? If you don't have to do that, then why not leave the corner map up? Like, as much as I love overlay map type stuff, like, oh! Fuck was that? Yikes. Dang. That's smarts. Yeah, Delve is starting to get super spiky. I feel like the next phase of this character is just, I gotta strip away everything but the most efficient scalers on damage, which is probably going to be almost entirely life. And then just reallocate the rest of everything towards defensive utility. If I want to really push this thing, I think that's kind of inevitable. That's a nice thought. Yeah, like poison plus the cold snap just totally cripples the character for its full duration. Such is the nature of a character that builds primarily a regen and block, I suppose, but even so. I just decided to turn around the other direction. Garbage. Gecko says, I haven't been playing because PoE's been running like trash lately, and also I have no idea how to dramatically jack up my damage. Oh yeah. Wes has been feeling a little bit better recently, so we might end up, might just take a new crop of submissions entirely for more versus increased build clinic. And TU asks, what do fossils do in PoE? You socket fossils into resonators and then apply resonators to items, and resonators will craft the items subject to the restrictions in the fossil. So if I take a one-slot resonator and then put this fossil on it that says more chaos, no lightning, when I craft something into a rare item with this, or reroll a rare item with it since it's a chaotic resonator, it is way more likely to roll chaos modifiers and completely blocked from rolling lightning modifiers, meaning that 3 and 4 socket resonators gives you a high degree of control over the result of the item you craft, because you can block wide ranges of mods completely off the item. Whiplay says, how do you feel about running Herald of Purity? Herald of Purity on this? I don't know if I follow. I definitely liked having Herald of Purity available on the, the physical Herald on a Facebreaker character. That's part of the reason that it was so quick for that character to come together, because so much of your base physical damage comes from the fucking physical Herald! Wait, Places, just in general, do you think it's worth running at all? Oh, absolutely. I think it has the potential to be quite strong, I think. Just... I mean, the obvious use case is Facebreaker characters, where Herald of Purity's added physical damage basically becomes base weapon damage, and as such, it's basically a requirement on every character of that nature. Plus, hell, Blind is 0% mana modifier, link Blind up to the fucking things and give yourself a layer of safety versus, like, some nasty rares. I think every one of the Heralds is super strong right now, but my experience with Herald of Purity specifically has been with Facebreaker, and it was... The jump in quality compared to, like, running Facebreaker in previous leagues without it, the character came together so fast, it's insane. Highly recommended. Now, what I've only seen one person screwing around with as, like, an actual damaging skill instead of just a generic life regen buff, Summon Holy Relic. That's something I want to play with in the future. I feel like that has a lot of potential power. Even though I haven't seen a lot of people trying to make use of it, because the obvious way you slot it in is just, oh, it's just... fucking... run this, run a golem, and you've got two super easy, low-maintenance ways of basically passively buffing your character up defensively. Since Chaos Golems and Stone Golem. I wonder if this character runs a Stone Golem now that I've got a little bit of link space hooked up. Just completely abandon the premise of, like, either scaling the Vengeance granted by Martyr of Innocence or scaling Molten Shell or Vol Molten Shell damage, and just reserve every one of those 6 slots for utility skill. If I'm going that route, then maybe it's smarter to run an actual attacking skill there like Scorching Ray, but I quite frankly don't want to. I just want to River Dance on things, so we're gonna see how far we can scale that instead. Alex asks, ever done a Baron build? Can't say I have. Is Baron that wild fucking... I forget what it's like a minion helmet that has some sort of strength scaling on it, right? I forget the particulars. I recognize the name, though. Maybe I'm thinking of something else entirely, and I'm about to expose myself as someone who's never played a summoner in my life. Gecko says, I used Summon Holy Relic a bit when I picked it up, added some good-ass life regen. Yeah, for sure. On Consecrated Path, it was pretty funny because you're getting the 6% life regen from being on consecrated ground more or less constantly, plus Summon Holy Relic pulsing for life regen. And it gave you a pretty solid base of regen without really investing much into it at all. Alex says, adds half your strength to zombies. On 1000 plus strength, they leech life to you. It's comical. Oh my goodness, that does sound hilarious. I wonder if Wes has tried to theorycraft something like that, because he's usually the guy running, he likes chaos characters, minion characters. He's played a Golemancer this league, Toxic Rain. Oh, hey. The fuck are you? And why did you make a noise? Because I know you're not valuable. Yeah, fucking must be multi-base or something. What does Neversink think that item is? What's the actual gold item? What's the actual gold amulet that people want to drop? Do I have chisels now? Just gonna kind of cheat and see if I can pull some out of my dump tab here. Yeah, there we go. Let's do, I still want to drop race courses because they're some of my favorites, so keep throwing currency at promenades. 69. Do I just vol this? Nah. I'll just onslaught it. Alex says, also like 4 or 5 max zombies if you reach 1200 strength or something. That does sound pretty fucking funny, honestly. I've never liked the way that summoners seem to control. Everyone who puts time into summoners seems to tell me, yeah, sometimes the minions just don't do what you want and you gotta take the L. Which is a little frustrating. I don't think I could work with it for a long time. But seeing the way that my roommate was just ripping shit on his Golemancer and just running maps completely blind on the mods with no fucks given, there's something very appealing about that. Corrupted Boss, Bloodstones, Breaches, Tier 11, rolled for nothing. Or Harbingers, T6 with DPs. Okay. Yeah, I think let's do this. Alex says, oh, they always go wherever you point? Yeah. They're like directable for sure. You're in a skill like Vortex or Defile or something like that. And you can always direct them in some way. Wes in particular had some gripes about the Golem AI. He says that they're basically like, they're really frustrating to clear with unless you use aggressive golems. And then aggressive golems are really easy to, they'll get sidetracked very easily by single mobs. So whether you can control them or not basically relies on whether your Convocate's on cooldown or not. He got it running very smoothly towards the end, but there were still those moments of small snags that would frustrate me, I think. As you can see, I like characters that run at the monsters. I think it is good when you run on top of monsters and they light on fire. I'm 12 years old. Alright, so we got Harbingers. The volatiles are making me nervous a little bit. What kind of build would I like to run that I've never run before? I've never run a triggered discharger, but those have always seemed very cozy to me. Like Cosprey's shield charge discharge kind of nonsense. I have never run Spectral Shield Throw, and I would like to at some point. I have never run Facebreaker Shield Charge as a pure attacking skill. I tried to at one point when I was much worse at the game and when character power was overall lower, and it didn't really work, but I'd like to revisit it at some point. Alex says run an on-death build. I have never run a cast on death build. Whiplay says, I love running Herald of Purity on Blade Vortex Witch. Yeah. BV in general, I have never run a BV character, and I'm wondering if some type of triggered BV shenanigans would be up my alley. Alright, 3C Jewel. Come here. Oh shit, was that a... That was a one portal map. Fuck. Oh well. Alright, left one, top three. Wait, says, if you like running things at them dying, BV sounds up your alley. Yeah, for sure. It's just like, and this is such a silly complaint to have, but a skill that's already so powerful. But stopping to cast looks a little bit clunky, and both, I think all three of my roommates have run Blade Vortex at some point, and they're all kind of in agreement that, like, stopping to cast feels a little bit bad compared to, like, triggered builds or, like, super, super low moving parts stuff like Righteous Fire. So I'm wondering if, like, fucking some kind of triggered Blade Vortex shenanigans. There's probably a bunch of ways you could do it, really. And at some point, I would like to go back and play the first two skills that I ever attempted to use in Path of Exile. I have never taken a Lightning Striker to endgame, and I have never taken a Lightning Arrow character past Act 3. Cruel Act 3, to be fair, it was a long time ago. But I like the feel of both skills a lot. Hikari asks, what is the most cumbersome build you can come up with on the spot right now, just for memes? I think the most irritating character you could possibly run while still being, like, viable to some extent in terms of endgame content would, like, the thing that comes to my mind immediately would be Tripanon Marlene's Fallacy. You run a weapon that always crits and use a amulet that massively increases crit damage with the supposed downside that you crit less often, but the weapon overrides that so that there's basically no downside to it. Of course, the downside really being that Tripanon has the slowest attack speed in the entire game, I believe, and also extremely bad base damage. So you have to go through so much work to scale it up to the point where it's becoming a real weapon, and even then you attack so ponderously slowly that it might not even be worth it. Alex suggests phase run Thorn's Pacifist, no direct damage around. No, what you do is you run Tom Clancy's Path of Exile. You run phase run with like an Ichimonji and shit, so that you can get to 100% reduced, like 100% aggro fade or whatever, so that enemies never notice you, and then you just fucking darkness fossil farm like this. And God help you if you ever have to throw dynamite. Morning, Wes. Taptrix asks, why Dying Sun, by the way? I know it's super greedy, but I like the AoE. At some point, I'll probably change it to a magic flask with either staunching or curing, probably, because normal sources of bleed are hurting me a little bit more than I expected, as is random poison stuff from like Delph biomes. But right now, it's just like, hey man, AoE, somebody dropped a Dying Sun and I just put it on the fucking character because I'm a potato, I don't know. That's what I mean by these characters coming together in pieces. Sometimes there's just weird shit that you don't question until the game forces you to do it. Brog says, pleasantest music? Thanks. I do like it for Path. Monsters of a 20, yeah. Yeah, we'll be fine. Do I... This is 85, so I'll bloodlines it. My boyfriend wanted to put together fucking 30 Siege Ballista Iron Commander shenanigans this league, but he hasn't been playing. Too busy with FF14 and the job hunt. I've got that 5-link Iron Commander waiting for him, though. I will not sell it because I believe that he can do it. He can make Meme Ballista real. He's pretty new to the game and has never taken a character to what you'd consider, like, comfortable in maps. And I'd like to support him in that someday. My play says, oh boy, FF14. Oh yeah, dude. I play too, but I've been doing less combat and more fishing recently. I'm not the type of person that I expect that... I don't think anyone expected me to actually get into fucking virtual fishing, but... something about existing in a world like that just seems so cozy. It's like, sometimes you just want to hang out and fish, I don't know. Alex says, Scorching Ray Totems are where the real memes are at. Okay. Scorching Ray Totems are pretty funny. Flame Blast and Righteous Fire Totems are even funnier. But you know what's fucking amazing? Lightning Warp Totems. Lightning Warp Totems is a concept that Wes has been kicking around for like 70 years, and I really want to see him do it someday. Wayplay says 20-minute queue times for bards. Yeah. It's a great time to level your crafters or gatherers. Go do fates or something while you're waiting. Ikari says, that laugh was a genuine one. You were extremely happy when you say Lightning Warp Totem. Well, yeah, because totems, the entire totem archetype is that you put down a stationary thing that casts your spells. And it's the most, like, safe and boring shit you can possibly think of, and it's really straightforward and simple to scale. And then Lightning Warp Totems takes that concept and says, no, your totems are angry motherfuckers, and then run at stuff with a movement skill that is also your damage skill. I should have upped that at the very least. It's... something about it is hilarious. Wayplay says, I love that concept, time to try. Dude, let me know how it works. Keep me updated. This is an adequate time to plug my Discord. Maybe. We've got a small but growing Path community over there. A lot of new players who are learning the ropes. Then you've also got access to me and my roomies. I'd say I'm probably the worst at Path of Exile in this apartment, but everyone's got a solid head on their shoulders here, and my roomies in particular have a lot of experience with, oh god, hello dynamic resolution. Nice, nice, nice. Gecko says your totems turn into the ghost rook from chess 2. I love weird totem builds conceptually, like actual spellcasting totem builds are boring to me. It's just something I could never play personally. But shit like the 100% stun shockwave totem builds, where your character does nothing but disable bosses so that other characters can kill them completely without risk, which is no longer possible, sadly. Same as 100% temp chains, shout outs to Gouda. Holy shit, yeah, the amount of corpses on the fucking floor is just trashing my client performance. Breach Lord! Oh god, hello! So that's the one thing that can still kill me because I don't have freeze immunity. It's like, oh, freeze, no freeze immunities, no problem. Freeze durations are so short and I don't really take a lot of damage anyway. And then that shit shows up, like, yeah, you think you're hot shit, huh? How many were left in that map anyway? Should I even bother to walk back in? Oh, well, the dump tab is full to the point where I can't put any more fucking items in it, so... Fuck it. I may as well organize now. So, this is the way I've found it's best to do this. I haven't been quad tab looting for very long. I only actually really started using this overall strategy as recently as the start of Delve, because the amount of fucking garbage that Delve just throws at you. Nice. I've been thinking of doing a macro that types all these in sequence. Hello, Dale says, I didn't realize freeze status also affects your computer. Whipplay says, Lightning Warp Totem is the angriest build I've ever seen. It's like the most aggro totem build on the planet, dude. It's beautiful. Okay, fossil. It bothers me that searching fossil picks up fossilized spirit shields. I've been considering just not picking up the base because it bothers me. This is what having neuroses looks like. Gary says, going back to FF14 for a second, I cleared 9S and 10S in the first week, then I couldn't manage to do it week 2 because lol Cold Steel 4, but this week I've tried every day for 3 hours or so and still can't get a weekly clear. Nice. Alex says, wait, no, real meme is Ape Chieftain Spectres with blood magic. Just fucking angry apes. Wild. My pure chaos returns have been kind of wild because I'm basically super sporadically using Zana mods whenever I feel like it. But the bubblegum currency really does add up pretty quickly. I feel like I want to convert to a decent stock of chisels at some point, though. Oops. Actually, before I do uniques, I should do a map. Alex says, if they have apparently if they have blood magic, they just spam their charge war cry non-stop. Huh. That's pretty cute, actually. I'm gonna have to look up what that looks like. Okay, so a little bit more of a base of low reds. I think at some point I'm gonna do my T12 and T13 completions, probably like in the next couple of days. Sure, man. I will sell you that jewel. Alright, left one, top 11. Foul globe. What was I doing? Anyway, unique. The overwhelming majority of these will be garbage. Mass price checking with Xeon Trade here because I don't really have an encyclopedic knowledge of what uniques might actually move for anything. And because I'm not too shy about clearing out my 1C sell tab fairly frequently, I'll put up stuff that looks like it might move for 1C because occasionally, even if there's a billion of them, it actually does, just because other people don't bother to leave their maps, and so people make it all the way down the page to me. That's like the one remaining argument for not adding an auction house to this game, is the fact that trading being obnoxious actually adds fucking depth to trading. Like the fact that sometimes people will just not sell you items because it's not worthwhile actually like being valuable in some way. I'm about to sell unique rings. What am I doing? Into the Lore Weave tab with you. Apparently unique rings have dropped across the board because the Delph changes, especially stuff behind Fractured Walls, has basically made unique rings twice as common. We barely managed to put together a Lore Weave before people realized how common they were and managed to sell it for its old price, but Lore Weaves have fucking tanked recently. So now we grab everything unidentified, so all the 6 sockets first. Six socket, and then like Vol Arc. Weird amulet.
Hello.
Will Vol Arc actually move like this people? Yeah, at level 20 corrupted maybe. And now comes the most obnoxious part of the entire experience. This is like the least exciting possible way to wind down a stream, but in a lot of ways it feels appropriate to me. Like, oh, here's the sum total of everything we did today. I go for way shorter sessions, and it feels like people who, like, play this game as much as I do like to. Like, I'll play for maybe an hour or two at a time, and then be like, yeah, that was pretty cool, now let's go do literally anything else. Failed to apply item, target is already identified. Alright, so now everything is identified. Click the scrolls in here. And just fill inventory. Quickly evaluate and basically vendor all of it. I feel like I need to start controlling what kind of rares I actually pick up a little bit more. This is just like never sync a default strict behavior. And I feel like I'm probably at the point in the league where I can like be a little bit more selective. I've been kind of dragging my feet, but I'm finally there. Daryl used to stream for 16 hours a day. Wes doesn't stream, but he has been playing a lot recently since he's been couch-bound and unable to work on projects. Might be interesting. Throw it in the 5C tab, and then if it doesn't move, move it to somewhere else later. I'll basically do that with any, like, 2 relevant property jewels. Euphoria says, dude, AJ, thank God the stream is so relaxing. I've been re-rolling in Dragalia for about 45 minutes and I feel like I'm gonna have a seizure. God. I went through the reroll vortex on Fire Emblem Heroes and then didn't end up actually playing it at all. I'm still kind of mad about it. Good luck. I don't like that. I feel like I misevaluate weapons more than anything, because I don't often play builds that use rare weapons, so I don't have a lot of experience in evaluating them quickly. Get out of here. Gecko says, I think the longest stream I ever did was the entire Injustice 1 story in one sitting, and then after that speedran Karate Master 2. Wild. I think the longest stream I've ever done, I've played PSO2 for 10 hours straight with a couple of friends and guildies, and had a great time, but I never wanted to stream afterwards after that. I was more exhausted than I thought it was possible to be while playing video games. Wait, 139 life. Bad hybrid base. Weird percent increased, bad resistance. Might go for like 1C or something, so I'll throw it in the 5C tab and see if someone bites when they're desperate. Physical and cold and dual res. Might go for something. See, I'm willing to make a lot of shitty 1C or 3C trades. I just don't know whether spending the time to actually identify rares to make them happen is necessarily worth it. It always feels weird in the moment, though, because I'm doing it as a gigantic block. I've been desperate enough to buy items like this before, with just like life up top and then decent reses on the bottom. Double damage and a stat pin. That could be useful to someone.
I will see you again.
Shader asks, why don't you do Chaos Recipe? Big pain in the ass, don't like it. I get more consistent return from rares in general, and organizing Chaos Recipe stuff just puts such a fucking drain on my fucking mental resources. I know there are systems for it, but even the most efficient systems, and I've tried them all, I still feel bad while doing it. And my final arbiting rule for any sort of profit maximizing strategy in Path of Exile is never do anything that feels bad ever. So I'm probably missing out on a little bit of maximum, but
Well,
I just can't be bothered. Envy says the ball stream was the longest. I don't think it was quite the longest, but it was definitely up there. To be clear, I think Chaos Recipe is an excellent strategy for early league, and I will do it then when I'm most desperate for chaos. But in this case, I didn't do it in Delve because Delve currency nodes dropped so much raw C that I was able to get my character set up fairly quickly. That was 93 life and a resistance. I've bought items like that before, maybe not for a C, but I could see someone being desperate enough to do it. 92 life, res, flat armor, high strength roll. Maybe if someone's pinned. Weird to try res on this, maybe it'll go for something. See, I just put myself in the position of a player like me who fucks up builds constantly and needs to like buy ridiculous amounts of stupid idiot crutch gear that they don't want permanently. And I'll sell basically everything that looks like that kind of item. Like, see, this is the perfect example of a garbage item that I would buy for 1C while desperate. And it's pretty surprising how often it actually works. Wells asks, aren't the jewelers from the recipe basically 1C though? What do you mean? Which recipe are you referring to? Those all go in here for 1C. I can't imagine them ever selling for anything more. So I don't even want to bother letting them trickle down for from 5 to 3 to 1.
welcome.
71 life, incredibly shitty dual res. It's on a bone helmet, so the base is somewhat desirable. Percent increased. Oh, the 6 slot recipe? Yeah, I always do that shit. I'll pick up every fucking 6 socket. Because those things are basically like slightly less than a chaos. I can see that going for 1C. Movement speed, 2 reses, one of them is decent and high life. Open suffix for another resistance? It's possible. That might go for more than I expect. That's garbage, that won't ever sell to anyone. Maybe it seems weird of me to draw the line there, but I really think that's where the line ought to be drawn. Alright, the dump tab is clear once more. Just because I'm curious. I don't assign a whole lot of worth to this because a lot of currency cop evaluations are super optimistic regarding unique items that you may not move for that price in any convenient order, stuff like that. Okay, so we've got 1,856C. 1,800, oh, it's updating now, I guess. 1,874C in general raw holdings, including 114 chaos in jewelers. I got a fucking Exalt in jewelers here because, goddamn, people, pick up your 6 sockets, seriously. Amp says, this is the part where I call out and lay back down, stomach is turning. Hang in there, dude, I'm sorry. Alright, so I'm out for now. I'm off to investigate why Premiere is randomly changing the gain on my monitoring. X fucking D for that one. But, Twill asks, what site are you looking at? I'm using a utility called Currency Cop. I'll actually show it off really quickly here. Currency Cop gives you like an itemized breakdown of the estimated value of items in your tabs by tab. So I've got all of my tabs selected here to have it evaluate all of the total value that I've got accumulated in my stash, and it'll price stuff like 20 quality gems, weird bubblegum currency, uniques and divination cards. Like in terms of like single items with the highest value, I've got a 2020 Consecrated Path that apparently goes for 30C. The Hunger and Saint's Treasure are both like 25C div cards. Harbinger's Orbs are going for 20C, pretty stable throughout the league. And it's nice to have just a easy breakdown of that so that you don't have to go searching through stuff when you like want to convert out for a big up. Plus, if you have 2 different portfolios set up, one for a dump tab and one for your main tabs, then you can see like more or less in real time how much currency you're sacrificing by running and rolling maps instead of selling them, and then compare that to the returns that you're receiving. And it makes me feel a little better to have this up, especially when it feels kind of bad sinking currency into maps and getting bad returns on short streaks. Because it reminds you, no, you're still making currency. As long as you continue to run maps, you will always fucking make money. Anyway, I'm out for now. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Saw a couple of new faces here, so if you'd like to see me again, I suppose, get a Discord that I just linked. Because everyone's got a Discord, right? It's a fucking law of nature. Every streamer must have a Discord. Don't really know why. But in this case, it's filled with a bunch of weird communities for a bunch of different niche games, including Path of Exile. So, if you are new, or if you feel like dunking on new players who don't understand crafting, then feel free to stop by. And you'll probably see me next tomorrow? Tomorrow morning, I think. It's been a while since I've gone fishing. We'll see what happens there. I'll keep you updated. Good night.
Thank you.